Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 189 of the AllYouCanHear podcast. I'll be your host today, Patrick, and joining me today are my two Christmas time co-hosts.
Cold in a blankie cold.
Winter Wonderland Wenzel.
And today is the very first episode in a brand new Christmas time month-load of content. So every episode will be Christmas themed in some form, from our regular weekly episodes to our special extra episodes we have coming out this month. So each one of those will be Christmas themed in some form or fashion. And today's episode will be focusing on, while we think of Christmas time as a very light, joyous, and I would say safe holiday, there are plenty other interpretations of Christmas across the world that give the holiday a different tenor, a different feeling. One would say a little scary and threatening in some capacity. We'll be talking about holiday horrors, basically different traditions from around the world that have a much different interpretation of Christmas, that have these strange, scary figures, like we know of Krampus and Belsnickel, these sort of frightening demon-like creatures that sort of punish the bad children and or reward the good children. So that's sort of the theme that we'll be on today.
You know, the shit that you see with the cookies, the cute little elves, Rudolph, Santa and his jolly fucking cheeks and his stupid ass laugh, ho ho ho. Yeah, no, that's American baby shit. We're getting to some real good shit, horror, terrifying adult shit.
Mine's not that scary.
Shut the fuck up. Mine is absolutely terrifying, and so is Pat's, and yours is going to be too, Cole. If it doesn't make me piss my pants, you're off the podcast. You're out.
Oh.
I will say, from what I've seen of your character already, Cole, it's if nothing else, just its visions is unsettling for, I guess, certain Westerners. But if you would start us off with your story.
My story, well, it's a tradition. It's a tradition that comes from South Wales. It originates, it's a wassailing folk custom from South Wales called the Lwyd. It is first recorded in the 1800s. It's not super old, but it's old. It's just not super old. It comes from the name Holy Mary or Grey Mare. The Lwyd part of the name is apparently another way to say gray, and the Mary, people are thinking it's meaning the Holy Mary, but it also could mean mare. The people aren't really sure what's going on there. But the Lwyd is it's a horse's skull mounted to a pole, carried by someone underneath a white cloth, and the cloth is long enough to conceal the pole and the person carrying it. Kind of like the front half of a two-person horse costume that you see in all these things throughout history. It's tradition performed at Christmas time by groups of people. They would form into teams to accompany the horse on its travels around the area. The teams would be dressed in garb from a traditional story there. I think it's like Punch and Judy, something like that. I didn't get to look into that much, but they carried around house to house requesting entry through song. The homeowners would be expected to deny them entry through song with random excuses like, you can't come in because it stinks, I farted, or the milk's bad, you can't come in, the door's closed, can't come in. But if you run out of excuses, if the homeowners relented and ran out of excuses, the team would be permitted entry and given food and drink. Lwyd would go absolutely bonkers, hip-hopping around the building, causing quite a ruckus indeed. Also, I don't know what happens if the homeowner runs out of excuses. And what happens then if the homeowner runs out of excuses and they say, no, you cannot come in my house? Do they have legal permission to just burst in and start eating their stuff? I don't know. I'm not from England. They're wild over there. It's a wasteland. But in 1888, David Jones suggested that its origins were Christian and that it had once been part of the festivities of the Feast of the Ass and the commemoration of the flight into Egypt of Mary and St. Joseph that was historically marked on 14th of January. According to Jones' idea, the Lwyd itself represented the donkey on which Mary rode during the story. And that's the Lwyd.
Very nice.
I got a picture coming through.
Feast of the Ass.
Yeah, I wanted to include that bit because the Feast of the Ass, which is a thing.
And we will say, like our cryptid episodes, each of us will be contributing a drawing of our particular traditional story, and then we will also be putting that up on our socials.
I just sent my picture to the chat.
Oh.
It's a spooky skull with a cloth and a nice little bow on its head.
I like it. I really like it.
Don't hurt me, Mr. Skeletal.
Yeah, any thoughts on the Mari Lwyd? It's
Well, Colt, you didn't scare me. You're out.
it's just not a scary time. Christmas isn't scary.
Christmas is terrifying. What are you talking about? A man breaks into your house and while you're sleeping and puts stuff randomly in your house. Like, that's terrifying.
I woke up. No, I don't. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. I am a fan of someone leaving me presents. That's it.
And he
Breaking and entering, that's very on a case-by-case
and he
basis.
rides
like
he
that.
rides on animals in the sky. That's insane.
All Santa Claus is a very friendly UPS driver. Okay, that's all he is.
But I'm not scared of UPS. I am scared of a man breaking into my house while riding on a bunch of flying animals.
But he left you a PlayStation 5.
Where did he get it? Where is he getting this stuff? Did you ever think about that? What if he's breaking into other places, killing the owners, and taking their stuff to redistribute them?
All right.
That may make sense for like redistributing wealth, but what if it's just some random family that he just goes, murders, takes their stuff, and then gives it to somebody else?
I think you're going into the Alex Jones of Santa Claus.
Or what if he's making deals with the devil to get all this stuff? How does he make all this stuff? And does it in one night? No, I don't believe it.
You're a Santa denier. Your brain's small. Santa believers are the strongest. Are you a Santa believer, Pat?
Oh, well, hell yeah, I'm a Santa believer.
Goddamn right.
I have 30 years of believing in Santa. Look at all the presents I get.
No way,
Ooh.
man. I'm gonna sit by my chimney with a gun in hand and a whiskey in the other, ready to take him out.
He's always going to make things difficult for himself.
Or maybe Santa's gonna have a difficult night. Can't get me.
If you're looking for trouble, you're gonna find it. You Santa denier. You are a heathen.
This house doesn't have a security system. I am a security system.
Okay, so that means Santa just has to come when you're not home.
Yeah.
Breaking and entering is only scary when you're there by yourself. If someone breaks in and you're not there, it's not as scary.
I don't know if that's true, Pat.
I mean, I think yeah. If
Tell
I'm
that to
home
people
and
who-
someone's breaking in, that's 10 times more scary.
Oh, no,
it's a
that-
little bit more scary.
Oh,
than
yeah.
someone breaking in and you just walk in after they're gone.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is though, like, people's worries and fears of somebody, breaking in, like if they're not home, is still, valid.
Oh yeah. I don't want that. That's still scary, but it's less scary than someone actively breaking into my house.
Oh, of course. No, I see what you're saying. Fair.
You know what? Snaps for Colt.
I gave myself some.
Yeah, if you can hear, I was snapping. So
I thought you were trying to light a match. But either way, very good job, Colt.
Very good job.
Thank you.
All right. Wenzel, would you be so kind as to give us your traditional story?
all right, let me stretch a little. That has nothing to do with my story. All right, let's go back to this is Eastern Europe, so probably Germany, Austria, Bavaria area. 10th century, maybe. Definitely early, early in the millennium, whatever. Technically Christmas. There's the 12 days of Christmas, right? And that starts on Christmas Day. So it's December 25th to January 6th, and that's when you're supposed to celebrate. So when you're celebrating, you're supposed to eat fish and gruel for 12 days, especially on the 6th day, which is Epiphany Day. That is the last day. It's the 12th day. You're supposed to supposed to eat the aforementioned food. There's supposed to be no spinning, which is making cloth. You're supposed to celebrate and be off and be fine. Having fun. And to make sure that children are good and people are doing the festivities and partaking of the rituals and stuff like that, an old woman, possibly an old woman, comes to your home, and she's beautiful. She wears white. She comes in. She automatically knows if you've been naughty, nice, if you've done what you're supposed to, and if you have, then she leaves you a silver coin and leaves. That's her. But if you haven't done anything, if you haven't eaten your food, if you have been naughty, or if you've spun, specifically the women, if they've spun, made cloth, then a beautiful woman does not come to your home. Instead, it is a haggard, possibly demonic-looking woman comes into your home. Again, she already knows. She finds the children. She cuts open their stomachs. She takes out all of their insides, all of their guts. She takes them out and replaces it with straw and pebbles, and then she leaves.
That is not that's scary. Mine was just a horse's skull and a cloth.
This entity is known as Frau Perchta, and she became prominent, popular through someone you probably all know, Jacob Grimm, part of the Grimm brothers. He brought her to the forefront, or brought her into prominence, and from what he has said, that she was originally known as Perchta, which is the possible equivalent to Berchtold, who leads the wild hunt. A squad or a troop of elves, demons, and fairies and stuff who go on causing havoc. So there's that. Also, she might be related to Frigga, a goddess who was also known for spinning. That's where we get the spinning of cloth from. Also Hulda, which is another part of Grimm's fairy tales. She also has some helpers, because it's kind of tough. It's tough going from house to house, and in Eastern Europe where there's probably a mountainous, snowy area. So she has a bunch of demons to help her out called the Stregli. And what they do is that instead of cutting open their stomachs and replacing with straw and pebbles, they actually rip children apart. They rip them apart and don't stop.
Okay.
And then they leave. And so if you're being good, you get money. If you're being bad, you get maimed. So if I was a kid, I'd be terrified. I'd be absolutely shitting my pants. That is so. Yeah, they. It was a lot of people equate her to like the female equivalent of Krampus, but like even Krampus doesn't like do that. He beats kids with birch or whatever. What are they called? Switches. But nah, she just straight up rips you apart, or her demon friends do. This is just a sketch I could get of her face, because I want to include her Stregeli, I think that's what they're called, her demon friends. But yeah, it was looking this up, it was pretty interesting. Just because of like how possibly like ancient this is, because this originates all the way back to the 10th century. Like that's crazy. And like a lot of there's still a lot of debate as to whether she is kind of like a Christian, might be like kind of because the sixth day, not the sixth day, January 6th, the 12th day is Epiphany, but that's also known as Perchta Day, and because that is when that timeline right there of when she's most known for, most prominent, most celebrated, I don't know, they think that's not pre-Christian, but like I don't know, she is really weird.
I will say because there's a lot of like rural beliefs that sort of intermingled with Christianity when it was introduced to like all these sort of alpine countries. So like a lot of times, because they are so like deeply like interconnected now. It's like it's really hard to pinpoint like where one started to like get down to the root of it. Because I know from what I remember reading, because we have a sort of, I have sort of like a tangential spirit, because like Perchta comes from like a corruption of the old German word for epiphany, which is forgive me, Geberata Nacht, which is night of shining forth or manifestation. Which so like it's weird, sort of like the anthropology of like a lot of these creatures or in stories and traditions.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like when it comes to the like you said, like religions or mythologies concerning the Alpine regions, specifically Eastern Europe as well. It's like there's just so much there's so much mystery and it's so ancient too. It's really really fascinating, like I said, and like also another thing too when it comes to like this, she was a story to scare kids, but also she was like supposed to be like an upholder of cultural taboos, which is like I mentioned before, spinning, which is just you have that device that you use to spin cloth and stuff. And between December 25th and then Epiphany, which is January 6th, there was like it's prohibited to do spinning on the holidays. And so if she catches you doing that and she knows you're gonna pay for it. She also was supposed to have like one of her feet was supposed to be bigger than the other. One of her feet. One of them was supposed to be bigger than the other as a way to kind of symbolize that she can shapeshift as well, which is interesting. I don't know why that would mean that you could shapeshift into an animal. Well, actually, no. It says, I'm looking at it right now, strange foot symbolizes her being a higher being, and that's something that's interesting, is that a lot of religions with people who like have like what would now be like ailments or like deformities were considered holy beings, which is interesting. Or like they were considered holy beings or like divine figures.
It makes a certain plot point in Midsummer make more sense now.
Yeah, because that was interesting too. And also another thing, what I can't remember, it's like some Mesoamerican religion. I don't want to say it's the Mayans, and I don't want to say the Aztec. I don't want to get it wrong, but there's one of the gods who was known to have like this type of he was essentially, they think that he was a representative of somebody who had leprosy. And then when you look at like the Hindu religion where you have their Hindu religion where you have figures with multiple arms, there are people who will have multiple arms. It's just interesting that this stuff involving human mythology and culture. But yeah, sorry, that's mine, Frau Perchta, scary old lady.
All right, and Wenzel, do you want to at least describe? So, what was your like artistic direction for your piece?
Well, like I said, she comes to you either as a lady dressed in white, very pretty, or as an old haggard lady. But then there's also been some depictions of her looking very demonic. So I try to like blend that with my drawing. She looks kind of youthful, as she has very a menacing, very toothy, sharp smile with some very evil-looking eyes. I think I did really good on that. It's just the head, and she has some horns with some long hair. Like I said, I'm going to try to do more of that. There's also been some interpretations of her having two faces, which also makes sense because she is two-faced. But yeah, that's what I have. There's like this kind of like darkness. I have like kind of like dark rings around her eyes. Not rings, but like shadows, kind of shadowing, like kind of like mascara, but it's not. She's like a monster.
Yeah, her wings are on point.
Thank you. But yeah, that's what I have.
Very nice. Snaps for Wenzel.
Thank you.
And mine is sort of a offshoot of Wenzel. So because when I was doing mine, I was gonna kind of go into the larger history of it, but it's just some very good happenstance that Wenzel did, like sort of the forebear to my story, which is the Schnabelperchten, which is a regional variant of the Perchten from Rari's Valley in Salzburg, Austria. And because there's a general like resemblance to Frau Perchta, it's that what makes it different because Schnabelperchten means beaked Perchten, and what these creatures look like, and they're defined by a very large beak that makes up the majority of their face, and their head is covered with a bonnet. They wear knitted jackets, patched women's smocks, straw slippers, and they come with a woven basket strung to their back. And they carry like some accessories with them, like needles and thread, often with brooms. But the most iconic accessory they have are a giant pair of scissors. They carry around.
She could fight Mr. Fantastic.
That is a call forward to a bit
in the future.
In the futures, yeah. So keep that bit in mind. But what happens when this creature is that usually these creatures go door to door, and they announce their arrival by calling "ga ga ga ga" in like a monotonous tone. And there's usually like a pack of them, all coming with brooms and needles, and mostly with giant scissors. And much like Frau Perchta said, they go to each household to see if they've been maintained properly, with floors swept, furniture dusted. And if so happened that the homeowners have not been keeping a tidy house, the Schnabelperchten will clean the home, very thoughtful, but then they would use their giant scissors to cut open the occupants' stomachs, take all the dirt, grime, and debris from the house cleaning, and then shove it back into the person's newfound cavity.
What the fuck? Ew.
And like Wenzel said, with the Perchta, they're very connected to the holiday of Epiphany, which is the very end of the 12 days of Christmas. And Epiphany, for anybody who don't know, it's a holiday that what it celebrates is different depending on what part of the world you live in. For Western Christianity, it's a holiday celebrating the adoration of the Magi to the Christ child. Or in Eastern Christianity, it's celebrating the baptism of Jesus by John the Baptist. So where you fall in the world is what you're celebrating. And with this tradition, largely done by young men in the community as they dress up as the creatures, they usually make a big show of making the beaks, which is sort of like bound from large sticks and like linen. And basically they sort of like basically dress in drag, and they go around to like towns and go out through the towns to the homes and business in the community and like playfully threaten the occupants into keeping up their good cleaning habits. Because I watched a couple of videos of like these group of 5 or 6 men. They go through like homes and restaurants, and they sort of like chase people around and prod them with their giant scissors and like tease the children. And whenever they're done with the home, or they have been given sufficient evidence that this has been a well-maintained domicile, they'll be sort of given like small treats like drinks or cigarettes or like little candies like that. With this particular variant of Frau Perchta, they believe in the area it started back from the Valley's gold mining days, and it may have been started out of a desire to encourage cleanliness and good housekeeping in mining household, because like obviously if you're working underground with dirt and grime, it becomes very easy for a house to become in disarray. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why this sort of tradition sort of spilled over into this particular part of Austria. And as for where the beak version came from, because like I said, Schnabelperchten means beaked Perchten. Because in a lot of depictions of Frau Perchta and just Perchten in general, they are often depicted as like with like long hooked noses, and they believe that sort of evolved into like a more avian-like appearance, because a lot of people think that the beak-like nose of Perchta comes from this like association in classic mythology, like Greek and Roman mythology, of the bird Strix or Striges, which is like these predatory birds essentially. There's like basically they're birds of ill omen. And modern thinking, people believe those to be like certain kinds of owls in the area. Basically, there's these owls that come out at night and feed on blood and flesh, and they think this bird-like interpretation of Perchta is sort of stemmed from those old stories being sort of like woven into pre-existing myths. Because like we said, with a lot of these stories and just sort of like traditions and mythologies in general, how like because people travel and a lot of people come in and out, like all these stories sort of mingle together, so it's kind of hard to decipher where they all come from. But that's the general line of thinking where sort of the bird beak-like version of Perchta come from.
That's really neat. That's really interesting.
And just watching some of the videos they have of the like Schnabelperchten actors sort of going through the town, it's really sort of funny, and honestly it's very surreal, because you see like these giant, sort of like these slow lumbering like bird people like just like calling out in like this ghostly voice, "Gah, gah, gah," and it's like it's so out of the ordinary from what we as like I guess like Americans do with like our big holidays, because it's like it's very theatrical. It's very sort of involved with the community. So it's a kind of a shock to the system for I guess like what we know Christmas to be. And I'm about to drop my picture in chat. So here comes the Schnabelperchten.
I will say that the Ga 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 is not very different from a Lady Gaga fan. They make those sounds too.
Oh,
So this is my version of the Schnabelperchten.
wow, that looks sick, Pat. What the fuck?
Yeah, for like I said, we'll be putting our pictures online. Basically, you see like this sort of like very sort of humble attire that would be would have been worn by women of like sort of the older days in the I guess 1900s and even older. It has like a bonnet, it has like a thick wool sweater, mittens, like vest, and like several layers of like dress and aprons, like woven straw shoes and the woven basket. And the basket is usually where they would carry all their implements, like their brooms, their baskets, or like where they would threaten to steal away any children that were misbehaving. And because like they carried this giant pair of scissors, it reminded me a lot of the villain from the Clock Tower video games, if y'all are familiar with those.
No. I know what they are, but I haven't seen anything on them.
They kind of remind me of something out of Silent Hill, or, I feel like Pat shared, because I looked this up, I feel like he's shared this before with us. It's very, or maybe I've seen it somewhere, but man, very, very nice drawing, Pat, and very cool pick.
Oh, thank you. And to me, one of those frightening, like an idea I kind of thought to elaborate the horror of it is like you just see this giant like beaten mouth, but when it opens, you just see like a human mouth at the very back of the beak, and that's one of the side doodles on this one. Because like honestly, this would be like spooky in itself, and then like they can really easily make this into a horror game or a movie. I'd be interested to watch that story.
Oh yeah, for sure. Man, there's a group of these things with giant scissors. Yeah, I know who I'm calling to fight a plastic or elastic person.
Yeah, if you're made of any sort of pliant material, you may be in danger of the Schnabelperchten.
Oh, something else too. Santa always knows whether we're naughty or nice. He's watching us all the time. That's weird as well.
He knows when you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So just be good, for goodness sake, okay?
But the thing is that he knows when we're all beaten one out. And he still gives us presents? That's weird.
Man, Santa, please stop watching.
Yeah, now it's creepy.
Honestly, it just prepares children of a lifetime knowing that they're being constantly monitored by everything they do online and by the government at large. So it eases children into that surveillance state.
I imagine him eating a cookie while he's watching us take a shit. Slowly.
Santa's also like the dead relative thing, where ever since I was little, they always have like your insert names looking down upon you. I don't know when they're looking down upon me. Don't look it down upon me when I'm doing my own thing, please. Don't look at me. You know what? Just don't look at me. Close your eyes.
You just have an umbrella.
The horror of being known. Do not.
Pretty much.
What if you just had a magic umbrella so like God can never see you?
That'd be pretty cool. Then again, also, I guess it confirms the existence of God.
Hey, God, I don't know. I'm just saying. Some deity.
Kevin.
You get a magic umbrella that blocks you out from being seen by a deity, but you don't get to choose which one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That means that one's going to really like you, and he's going to like, why don't they like this guy? Like, he does nothing but just play video games. He never says bad words. He's cool.
Well, I think we gave a good interpretation of what other types of holiday traditions are out there. Some are definitely much more intense than what we're used to here stateside. But thank you, both of you, for giving your stories. Those are very interesting.
Thank you, Pat, for giving yours.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
Very welcome. And like I said, every episode this month will be somehow Christmas informed. We're talking about candies and movies and other very special things this month. So please look forward to those. We have our friends stopping by, some AYCH favorites. They'll be joining us as well. So be look forward to all that. There's a lot of content coming your way this month. because it's Christmas time, it's time of giving, and we're giving you a lot to look forward to this month. So thank you very much for listening today, and we hope you continue to listen this month. And you can listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Spotify, and any RSS feed catchers out there. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe on all those platforms. It really helps us out, keeps us up high in the algorithm, puts us in front of new faces, new ears, and just keeps the show going in general. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AYCH Podcast. You can follow us on Letterboxd and Facebook at AllYouCanHear. Follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear, and all of our old VODs from Twitch are available anytime you want to watch on YouTube, which is also at AllYouCanHear. And lastly, you can follow me, Patrick, on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at John Lost His Name, and my art on Facebook at John Lost His Name Art.
My name, Colt, for me on Twitter at ColtD00. Let's just close your eyes. Picture this. Santa Claus left a Ferrari under your Christmas tree. Not in good condition. It's used. It's on fire. That man fucked up. It's further we go, I don't know what the hell he's doing in my house.
Yeah,
What
right?
are you doing in my house, Santa?
Cole, I think someone just drove a Ferrari into your house.
Now that think about it, this isn't even a person at all that's driving. It's a monkey. There's a monkey driving. It's a spider monkey.
Don't put it on the monkeys, man. Do not put that on the monkeys.
I think Santa Claus is actually a bunch of monkeys in one suit, okay?
Ooh, I like that, actually. Yeah.
You can't say it's not true.
So, yeah, I'm a Santa denier, I guess. Thank you for listening. You can follow me, Wenzel, on Twitter at WenzelWiki. You can follow my art on Instagram at World of Wenzy. I also have link trees on both of those, so you can go check out my Goodreads, my Letterboxd, and whatever else is on there. So, yeah, thank you for listening. And make sure you stop your spinning now. If catch you spinning, you're going to lose your organs.
Let me into your house.
All right. Thank you all so much. Talking to you very, very soon. Take care.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.